Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I know I look pretty crazy. That's because we're doing a side-by-side comparison today. I'm going to show you do's and don'ts for hooded eyes. Obviously, you can see which side is which, I'm sure. This is the bad side, this is the good side. I've been wanting to film this for ages and I just never got around to doing it because honestly there's so much stuff that I want to film and so little time. I tried not to make it like ridiculous, so I tried to keep it realistic because I didn't want to like ridicule like the bad side. I think this is actually something that I have seen people do, so hopefully this is kind of realistic. Please don't be offended if you do any of the bad stuff that I show you in this video because that's not what it's about. I'm just trying to help you guys out and share what works for me. After all, it's all personal preference and I don't want to tell anyone what to do. I'm just showing you. So a lot of people with hooded eyes struggle with their eyeshadow and their liner, but you know what? You can do beautiful eyeshadow looks and beautiful liner as well. I really hope this video can help you understand your eye shape a little bit better. One thing I want to get off my chest because I feel like it just needs to be said, hooded eyes are not a problem, you guys. Don't think of it as like something bad or something that's like causing you issues because it's just an eye shape. And once you figure out how to work with your eye shape, it's not an issue at all anymore. So I see a lot of comments like, I wish I had more lid space and I hate my eyes and stuff. I can totally relate to that because I know it's frustrating when you just can't get your eyeshadow looks to look right. At the same time, don't think like that because you were born with your eye shape for a reason, because you're special and you are who you are. So try not to think like that. Try to embrace what you have and just learn how to work with it. So we're gonna hop right in. I don't wanna sit here and ramble for 2 hours because no one cares. And let's get started. So this is gonna be my good eye and this is gonna be my bad eye. And the first step is actually really boring, it's just primer. It does make such a big difference, especially if you have hooded eyes. You always wanna make sure you prime your eyes because you don't want your shadow to like transfer up or like move around, crease, anything like that. So make sure you always prime. So this is gonna be my good side and I'm gonna apply my Maybelline Color Tattoo. The MAC Paint Pot is also great, so if you have that, you can use that or just any primer that works for you. Moving on to the eyeshadow application, you want to use a good blending brush. This is the MAC 217. It's a little bit more pricey, but I think it's an investment and it's really good. So on my bad eye, I'm not going to bring the shadow high enough because as you can see, because my eyes are hooded, what I need to do is bring it up higher. But on the bad eye, I'm going to show you what happens if you don't bring it up high enough because that means you're not going to be able to see it. And it's just not a very flattering look. I'm going to use the exact same shade on the correct side. And I'm going to apply the shadow higher and you want to put it right here so that you can see where you place it. It has to be visible with your eyes open. So on my bad eye, you can see this part of my eye does not have any eyeshadow on it. And all that does is it emphasizes my hood. And on this eye, I placed a slightly darker warm tone. It doesn't even matter, like that's totally preference. You can use warm tones, cool tones, whatever you prefer. I'm making sure that the shadow is high enough so you're able to see it with my eyes open. Next, we're moving on to eyeliner. Probably one of the most common mistakes that I see is eyeliner that is just too thick. Because if you only have like a tiny bit of lid space, you don't want to take it away with your liner. You still want that to be visible and even like emphasize that it's there. So what I'm gonna do on the bad side is basically make this way too thick for my eye shape. And honestly, it all starts with your choice of liner. On my bad side, I'm gonna use a liner that I have like no control over. A brush like this. A lot of people like this brush. Personally, I hate it because I have zero control over this. And it's like this really bendy brush tip. I just can't work with these. A lot of people like it though, so make sure you use a liner that you know you're comfortable with and that you can easily control. Now I'm gonna flick it up way too high and way too early, just like this. I'm not even like purposely trying to make it look bad, I just can't work with these type of liners. Oh my god, do you see that? That's cute. Got some nice transfer going on. I'm gonna wait for this to dry, and this takes forever to dry, so I'm gonna be gone for a few minutes, but I'm gonna be right back and remove that. Okay, so how nice does that look? As you can see, my liner is just way too thick for my eye shape because you can see absolutely none of my lid space anymore. As you can see on this eye, I don't have a lot to begin with, so it's very important to not take it all away with such a thick liner. And keeping the eyeshadow so low is even like exaggerating the hood of my eye. And as you can see, the flick I did starts way too early. I have like a fold right there, and it just looks really, really bad. I'm gonna show you on this eye how to do it correctly so that it looks the most flattering on hooded eyes. And of course, I'm gonna use a different liner that I have more control over, or like any control. I had zero control over this one. And this is the Isadora Glossy Eyeliner Waterproof. This has been my favorite for a long time. I have recommended this to everyone, and especially if you have hooded eyes and you don't want any transfer, this is like perfect. This literally does not go anywhere, doesn't budge, does not transfer. So I don't know if Isadora is available everywhere, but if you have a chance to check this out, you should, because it is literally life-changing. The wand of this looks like this. The wand of this is just a lot sturdier, and I have a lot of control over this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna draw the line as thin as I can get it, and I'm gonna try not to take away too much of my lid space. And as we get to the wing, I'm not gonna wing it up before this crease right here stops. So as you can still see my lid, and also the flick does not like cut my eye, and the wing kind of goes out more straight so that it doesn't take away anything. It looks a little bit weird right now because we have nothing on the lower lash line, but we are gonna work on that. So what we're gonna do now is I'm going to tight line on my inner upper lash line. As you can see, my lash line looks a lot thicker and darker, but I have not lost any of my lid space. So that's always a great trick. If you don't really have any lid space at all, what you can always do is tight line, what I just did, and that's gonna give you some definition and like a liner effect without actually like drawing a liner on the upper lash lines. I always recommend that you do this because you want to get rid of that like flesh tone between your liner and your eye. As you can see right here, you can totally see my skin showing, and also here, and it's just not cute. Okay, we're moving on to eyebrows. I keep saying this all the time, your eyebrows make such a big difference in how hooded and droopy your eye looks. As you can see, my brows look filled in already, but that's because I had them tattooed. Always want to make sure you have a little bit of an arch happening with your brows, and you don't want to make them too low. I'm going to show you on this eye right here. I'm going to make my brows a bit more straight and bring them down lower, and that is like totally gonna accentuate my hood. So as you can see, this brow is like a lot straighter now, and it kind of makes my eyes go down even further. I'm not saying this is a bad brow shape in general, because it's not. It can actually look really pretty, but I just think if you have hooded eyes and kind of droopy eyes, then you don't want to emphasize that by making the brow this straight or maybe even downturn. That's like a no-no. So I'm going to show you how I would fill in my brows so that they look good and not accentuate the hood. So I'm totally like working on that arch. So I know everyone's different and everyone has like personal preference when it comes to brows. But what I like to do and what I think looks the best on everyone is if you make this first third the thickest and then gradually have it get thinner towards the end. This is how I wear my brows, and this is how I think you should not wear them if you have hooded eyes, because it just makes them look more droopy. So I want to show you one more thing as far as eyeshadow on the top lid goes, because a lot of people have like excess skin like right here, and sometimes doing just one transition color is not enough. I think for me I can get away with it, but if you feel like it still looks a little bit like the skin is like sitting on top of your lid, which it is sitting on top of your lid, but if you want to help that out a little bit more, what you can do is take a pencil brush and go into a little bit of a darker brown matte shade and put it right where you feel your hood is kind of a little bit too obvious. You want to place this very strategically so your eye doesn't get too dark. I mean, if that's what you want, of course you can, but for an everyday look, you want to make sure that you only place it in like targeted areas. I'm gonna blend this out so that we don't have any harsh lines. So that is where we're at. If I open my eyes, you can't even tell that I'm wearing eyeshadow on this eye, which is not what you want. You always want to make sure that you can see it with your eyes open, because if not, as you can see, what it does is it just emphasizes your hood like crazy. And on this eye, you can see the hood very nicely recedes. So what I'm going to do on my good eye is put a lighter matte color as my lid color. So I'm going to take a light matte shade on my finger, and I'm going to place this just on the lid. If you put a darker color, it's going to make things recede, and if you put a lighter color like I just did, it's going to bring things forward. So I want to bring my lid forward. I don't have a ton of lid space, but the little bit of lid space I have, I want to be able to see, and I want to highlight. On this eye, I'm not going to do it because we don't have anything to highlight there. Okay, moving on to brow bone highlight. You can use shimmer. Like, I've seen a lot of people be like, so I can't use shimmer at all if I have hooded eyes? Yes, you can, but again, you have to place it very strategically. I'm going to, on the bad eye, bring it down way too low. So what that does, again, I hope you can see it, is it draws attention to the hood of my eye. You don't want to draw attention to this part right here. I'm going to take the exact same product, but I'm going to place it only right there. Like, I'm not going to bring this down. That way I get a really nice effect when the light hits it, but I don't get this kind of effect, which is like highlighting my hood. So we're now going to be working on the lower lash line. One thing to keep in mind is everything we did is to kind of pull the eyes up and not down. What you don't want to do is make this area too dark, and you also don't want to bring it down too low, because that's just going to drag your eye down. So I'm just going to take a really dark color. I'm also bringing it all the way into the inner corner. Okay, so it kind of does make my eyes look really big, but not in a good way. Like, my eye looks like it's down here, and that's not what we want. We want this to be like lifted. Some people think if they have hooded eyes, they can't do a lot on the upper lid, so they have to focus on the bottom lid. And please don't do that, because it really does not look good. And I'm gonna further intensify that droopy feeling by going in with a dark color in my waterline. So we're gonna work on this eye now. I'm gonna use the exact same pencil brush, and it still has some of that color on it. This is Makeup Geek's Mocha. And I'm just going to connect that part right here and create a little bit of a shadow. I'm not going to bring it all the way in because I want to keep my eye open and not like close it off. I don't really tend to do this because I just don't like how it looks on me personally, but if you want, you can put a light color in your waterline on the good side. And I really don't recommend that you use this pencil because it's way too chunky, but I just can't find my small Kajal nude liner. Like honestly, my cat has taken it somewhere and I don't know where it is. And then what I'm gonna do is I want to kind of create a little bit of a line right here so that my eye has a little bit more definition. And I'm gonna run that right along that lash line. Okay, so the next step is going to be mascara. Mascara really makes such a big difference. You really build up your lashes. The mascara can help hide the hood and make your eyes look less hooded. So what I'm gonna do on the bad eye first is I'm just not going to really care about these lashes. There's like a ton of eyeliner on them already, so they're like really hard. Basically, not apply enough. And on the good eye, I'm gonna really focus on building up my lashes. So I'm gonna be applying mascara on the bottom lash line now, and I'm also gonna focus on making them nice and long so they open up my eyes. Then on the bad eye, it doesn't even matter honestly if I apply mascara to my lower lash line because you can't see it. It's so dark there. So I want to do one more thing, and that is highlight my inner corners. I'm going to go in with a matte light shade. You can use a shimmer if you really just target it to this area. Just like that. And we're not going to do this on this side because this is the bad eye. So you guys, this completes the eye look. Let me know in the comments what you struggle with the most, and also if you have any like requests, please leave them down below as well. I'll also link 2 videos right here on both winged eyeliner for hooded eyes and eyeshadow technique for hooded eyes. Make sure to check them out if you're interested. And also, you guys can follow me on my social media. I'm Makeup by Myrna everywhere. Thank you so much for watching. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful because it really helps out my channel. And I think that's it for today. So I'm gonna go and wash this weird eye situation off of my face, and I will see you guys in my next video.